Have we talked about Star Wars 7 on this yet?
I'm not sure.
A little bit.
This is the thing I get worried about on this the most, is I forget what I've talked about with who and when it was, and they'll tell you that I keep bringing things up that I told them already.
If you haven't noticed, we like to talk.
Places. Yeah. But, yeah, okay. I was talking with my dad and about the Star Wars 7 and how I didn't care about any of the characters.
But Finn.
You don't know much. I don't know. I know you liked Finn a lot more, and I didn't care about any of them.
Yeah.
If they died, okay. I don't care about any of the characters through the whole movie. But on Final Fantasy 15, within 5 minutes, I loved every one of the characters. They're so good. That is the driving force of that game. I love the story. It's a good story. But the biggest draw is those 4 characters and the relationship between them. It's so good.
They are all really great.
I liked every member of your party in that game. Even the temporary characters, which never happens.
I still haven't finished
every
the game.
playable character. Cindy was awful. She's stupid, out of place. Her accent doesn't even match the people she grew up with. She's just dumb.
Which is why I did the Japanese voices. One, just because I wanted to hear what they were. And 2, because then I didn't have to hear her annoying voice every time I went to upgrade my car. She's terrible.
She's the worst. Worst character in that whole game. Okay. Kingsglaive was so good.
Good movie.
That was so good animation.
Good movie.
I liked that one a lot.
And we'll try to avoid spoilers.
But when you see the animation, it's like, no, that has to be live. Holy crap, that's animated. It's that kind of animation. It's that good.
The only other movie I've seen that happen with is, oddly enough, Tintin.
Really?
Yeah. It was when I was younger, a lot younger. So, but there were, it was mostly because of his hair. His hair was very well animated. Disproportionately well animated.
To the rest of it.
And when I saw the commercials, I was like, they must have gotten, a live model or something to make his hair. I was like, it was just so weird. I couldn't decide if it was live action or not whenever I saw his hair.
Oh.
Now it's very clearly animated, but when I was younger...
Oh, man.
Tintin is a good movie, too.
Have you beaten 15 yet?
I have not beaten 15 yet.
Tanner needs to do all these things so I can talk about them. Still hasn't watched ReZero.
Part of it is I just like torturing him.
We finished Limitless again today.
For the 5th time.
Yeah, probably that many, maybe more.
Yeah, that is a great show. The characters are well developed. The plot is great. The story plot. What?
Yeah. But we talked about that before, so 15. 15, it's so good. I have played 105 hours of that game.
Yeah.
I did every side quest and then reset. I'm playing through again. Oh, Moogle Chocobo Festival. The outfit you get from it is super great. Two outfits you get are so funny.
Are they only for Noct, or are they...
Yeah, sadly. I was really hoping for just
Prompto
tourist
and
t-shirts for everyone.
Prompto and a chocobo, like those giant chocobo hats.
Ignis would be the best just because he's so serious all the time, just with a goofy hat.
I would be very happy with that.
Yeah. Okay, 15. They're doing a bunch of story DLC, which is, like, frustrating that it's not in the main game, but, you know, they had to get the game out because it's been delayed so many times, apparently.
Or there would have been riots.
Probably. But there's one thing I noticed about it is you holding back the story just a bit is the fact that you're always Noctis.
Yeah.
Like in previous I think from 9 back, at least a few times, not several of them before 10, you played as you switched characters through the story, and you got to see it from different perspectives. You got to see things that were happening away from your main character. You got to do all this stuff and you got more of the story, more of the world, more of this and that and this and that. But you're always Noctis, so you miss a lot of what happens, and you know it happens. You can gather what happens from other things, but it's just not the same.
Yeah. I really need to finish that game before the story DLC comes out so I can see what it came out as, and then I can see what it turned into. So I need to get on that. I'm not sure if they're adding it or adding stuff in or just changing it.
I'm not actually sure either.
So, but a game that did that differentiating perspectives, I thought really well, was Last Story. Last Story was...
I love that game.
The name itself is kind of like an allusion to Final Fantasy. Last Story, Final Fantasy. Last and Final Fantasy Story.
You know.
Da-da-da.
But that game, you know it's gonna be... whenever a game makes me stop at the title screen and just listen to the music for 5-10 minutes, I know I'm gonna love it. Yeah. And that's what happened with that one.
Zale fell off the cliff.
I did that so many times.
That was so great. Oh my gosh. So, Last Story. You play as this character named Zale. Zael. And you are trying to work with your band of mercenaries to become knights. There's Zale, Yurik.
And I don't remember the rest of the names.
Yeah, neither do I, in all honesty. Because those were the two awesome ones. Zale was your main character.
I liked the healer girl, too.
Yeah.
She was... Not the princess. The one with the black hair, that was good.
So, Zale was your main character. You used this big broadsword. It's not as big as Cloud's, but it was still a pretty good-sized sword. And you could basically teleport during the fight. Not like Final Fantasy 15 teleporting. It was more like dashing. But
like
you
Kingdom
could...
Hearts.
What?
More like Kingdom Hearts? Or...
I guess.
Wait, I'm not sure exactly what you're talking about.
The Gale. His spell.
Okay, maybe.
You held A and then... you picked an area, and then you would dash over and make a giant whirlwind.
Okay, I think I remember.
Yeah. And so you could do that, and the combat was just fun. You could run around and just beat the crap out of things, and there were some times when you had to stop and think about it for a second. Make sure you were doing the right thing. And one of the things that I loved about when you were casting magic is it gave you an overhead view. So you could see everything around where you are, where you're going, and you could be like, okay, here's where I want to go, what's going to happen next? And it was just, I thought that was a really neat thing, because these are people who have been fighting. It's not just some random people that are just like, woo! These are people who have been fighting, so they pay attention to this stuff. Even if you don't.
I don't know. Okay. Again, I don't know if we talked about it here. But, you know, I think we did, actually, but I'm going to bring it up. When one of Tanner's friends brought up how obvious the tells in Zelda are. And
oh, yeah. He was talking about
he was kind of complaining about that.
Yeah, he was like, Ocarina of Time is a bad game. What now it's a bad game because of this standard of other games, because all it is you wait for a chance and then hit them. That's the entire combat system. And it's like, that's Dark Souls.
But, oh man. I was talking about how you were talking about how the mechanic is because your characters know what's going to happen, what's going on, they're paying attention. So it's just a way to translate what Link is seeing to the player more. Like, in universe, I highly doubt they're that obvious, but Link sees them and they have to translate to the player that he does see them.
Yeah.
I think we did talk about that. I'm pretty sure we did. Maybe
we might have touched on it, but I'm not sure if we really explained it. But, so, I think when we talked about it before, we were just talking about the differences between people's perception and what it is in universe. And I think we were just talking about it at a broad scale.
Yeah.
Because I was talking about the relationship between Link and Navi.
Yeah. Okay.
So.
Okay, back to 15 for a bit. I love the story on that one. I know a lot of people complained. I heard a lot of people complain on the internet, and they were saying it was shallow, and it was like, no, you're shallow. And it's not.
Why were they saying it's shallow?
Because they don't pay attention.
His dad died and he wanted to reclaim his kingdom. How is that shallow?
Well, plus, there's all these things. There's the history and with the bad guy, the villain, and all these things and the details. And it's not shallow. They just didn't pay attention enough. It's like how people say Inception is confusing. It's not. I was watching that the first time and I was like, when's it going to get confusing? When's it going to get complicated? And then it ended and it was like, what? Why is everyone so confused by this movie?
See, the first time I watched it was at like 2 a.m. and I was half asleep, so I had trouble following it. But every time after that I've seen it when I was awake, I've understood what was happening. It was not complicated. I think people were just having trouble following all the jumps between the levels of the dreams. Mm-hmm. And how each level affected the next. But I thought that was a really neat thing, and my brain is kind of attuned to that stuff-ish. Yeah. Not really, but I'm gonna say it is, so I can be special. I, as a special snowflake, love me. And buy my book.
Oh, also, another thing, maybe. You know how Link in several of the games, animals that hate everyone love him? Like, none of the creatures that fight you are just animals.
Yeah.
They're all monsters. Every one of them. You're never attacked by wolves or bears or anything.
No.
And so, I was thinking about that a little. Okay, I guess, except for pigs and chickens, but that's only if you hit them a lot of times.
Yeah, that's if you attack first, then they go on a murder
several
rampage.
times you have to wail on this thing before it'll attack you. And so they... when you go back to the Dooku Tree's explanation of how Hyrule was crafted, Feor created life in Hyrule that would uphold the law. And so all of these... And Link has the Triforce of Courage, which was Feor's. He's the closest thing they have to an embodiment, except maybe the Oracle, of her will. So the animals like him.
Yeah.
He's like...
Except for the one in Skyward Sword.
Who was not.
The feral cat that just attacks you whenever he sees you.
Feor did not make the life in that area of the world.
The cat is like, you poser, die!
I love the comic I showed you where it's Twilight Princess Link and Skyward Sword Link, and Skyward Sword Link is getting attacked by the animal, and Twilight Princess Link just picks it up and cuddles with it, and Skyward Sword Link is like, ooh, let me try again. And then the thing mauls him.
Yeah, that was pretty great.
It's a neat little strip.
There are other animals besides the monsters. You just don't really see them.
Because they aren't a threat. They don't matter.
You see them in Twilight Princess because they give you information.
Yeah, and you can talk to them, and all of a sudden they matter to the gameplay.
Yeah, and there are horses, and they know of wolves. Wolves are not a foreign thing to them. Wolves in the city are.
Yeah.
Wolves are not a foreign thing to them, though, which...
They may or may not be extinct, though.
Yeah.
Or sentient.
Yeah, that's possible. That is very possible. But, so, they have a lot of animals that exist on Earth, so it's plausible that they have most of the animals that exist on Earth. Like bears. So you don't really hear about them because the monsters are the ones that everybody's scared of.
Yeah.
But there are bears and wolves and horses and boars
and foxes and
there are things that would attack
seals.
People, but they never attack Link. And maybe it's just luck or divine intervention, but probably not.
Except...
well, sort of divine intervention, but not really intervention, more like just
association. Presence. Yeah. And, yeah, I think that's neat. I buy it.
Yeah.
And Epona likes him, and Epona doesn't like anybody.
Except for Melon.
Marin or Malin.
Malin.
Malin and Link. That's
Melon.
It. Melon!
I'm gonna call her Melonhead now.
I still am super disappointed that Blanio the boxing penguin never got into Hyrule.
Yeah! That would have been the greatest.
Yeah. He's so funny.
Even if he was just a weapon for Link.
Get boxing gloves instead of gauntlets.
Yeah. Even if he were just a weapon for Link, it would have been awesome to have him in there.
Or Ricky. Or Moosh. Or Dimitri. Or all the things. Oh my gosh, Tanner! In Breath of the Wild, when it teaches you how to whistle finally, well, officially tells you how to whistle finally, it says, your horse or other companion.
What?
And you can feed dogs! And they follow you. They haven't... They didn't show them taming a dog much, but in a town where the dog belonged to someone else, well, a stable outpost thing, they were trying to feed their horse, but the dog came over and ate it, and then the dog followed them around the outpost. So you may or may not be able to tame other wild animals besides horses.
That would be awesome.
It might just be talking about Wolf Link, but it's not. And they haven't showed you what Sheik's amiibo does in the game, and if it does nothing, I will be so disappointed.
Yeah.
Especially since the Sheikah are like, I've talked about this before again, but they're central to the story.
They are.
So if Sheik does nothing, that's awful.
And we are coming up on an hour.
Oh, man.
We are at 55 minutes, so...
Yeah. I think amiibos are funny, because it's not like it's Nintendo's first time doing toys.
Yeah.
They've done a lot of things.
They made Hanafuda cards for a long time.
Originally, yeah. Okay, game theory's deadlock thing. That's been a thing for a while. They've done a few episodes. The latest one was whether Nintendo should stop making consoles and just be a third-party developer. And it's like, no!
Wait, what?
Yeah, a lot of people are like, just make games instead of this and that. And it's like, no.
Yeah, no. I like the Switch. The Switch looks awesome. I wish I had money to afford it.
But, like, I like Nintendo consoles. And Nintendo is actually innovating.
What?
Wow!
Blasphemy.
Yeah. It's still annoying when people are like, this game wasn't successful due to a lack of innovation and this and that and that. No. No, it just wasn't pretty or marketed well enough.
Because
innovation
other games
makes things unpopular more often than not.
Yeah, there are, like, Okami. That one. That is a great game. And it got really high reviews, but it was not popular because
it was pretty.
Yeah.
And didn't innovate a whole lot. So not a great example, but...
Well, it sort of did, like, with the painting.
I guess it did its own thing, but I don't know if that would be called innovating.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. But any more innovation kind of discourages people from it than encourages them for it. Voice crack.
People like knowing they're gonna like the thing, so they buy the thing that's exactly the same as their thing. Yeah. Also, back to Nintendo should not be a third-party developer. Nintendo has always made their consoles, and because of that, they know exactly what it can and can't do.
Yeah.
So they have the games exactly perfectly tuned to that console. That's part of why their games are good.
Yeah, I don't know why, like, people hated the Wii U so much.
I like the Wii U.
The Wii U is awesome.
I like the 3DS. I like all these things. And just people didn't buy them because, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not as graphically powerful as the other consoles, so people are like, I don't care.
Who cares?
Yeah. The
graphics don't make it a good game.
Yeah.
Like Minecraft.
Graphics are fun.
Crappy graphics.
Very, very popular. And, like, you don't need powerful graphics to make a very pretty game.
Yeah. But, so, we are at an hour, so we will leave on that note.
The thing I was bringing it up for was just the one for continuing to produce consoles was saying that Matt Pat was like, you're gonna make more money if you do it just like this instead. And then they were like, we've been around for 100 years. Just let us worry about the money.
Yeah.
Which they have. It's crazy.
Alright, so leave us a rating and or review. A like, dislike, 5 stars, 4 stars, whatever, wherever.
Also,
follow,
look on
subscribe.
Facebook. Stuff is happening.
Yeah, and follow us on
Super
Facebook.
excited.
So
Both for Final Fantasy 15 DLC whenever that happens, Breath of the Wild, and I think ARMS looks really good.
yeah,
But I'm not going to play that for a long time.
I'm looking forward to ARMS
Eventually.
eventually.
But-
So, all right.
Yeah, bye.
Goodbye.